Hello and welcome back. A very good morning to all of you in Mumbai, different cities in India, and of course those who are overseas who will be watching this video at some point of time or the other. In my quest and endeavor to bring you unique series on tips and techniques, I continue with the NLP series again, and this morning I bring you something absolutely unique. It's called the NLP Well Defined Outcomes. NLP Well Defined Outcomes. The name itself is so self explanatory that you know what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about outcomes, we're talking about goals, and we're talking about how we go about it. Okay, we all have different resolutions, we all keep different resolutions, but somehow the outcome, you know, gets missed out. Uh, the percentage of people actually achieving their outcomes versus those who have not, uh, the gap gets into a lacuna. So let's try and address this issue today in terms of NLP well defined outcomes. Now, there is no set time to begin and no set time for achieving an outcome. Some of you would have made that as your New Year's resolutions. You know, some would have done this as part of your New Year's resolutions, and you know what New Year's resolutions are all about. We so gung excited, high energy, high octane, and then suddenly, when we are on the 10th or 12th of January, something happens and it sort of fizzles out. Okay? So we've got to be very careful as to how we maintain consistency in that frequency of NLP well defined outcomes. Now, let me ask you a few questions. Okay? Where are you now? And where do you want to be? Any answers? Think about it. What drives you? What wakes you up early morning and what drives you? What is your dream day, your dream week, your dream month, and your dream year like? What do you see happening in that dream? Think about it. It's food for thought for you. Take your pardon. Now, outcome and goals play a very important role in who you are going to be in the near future. Let me say that one more time. Outcome and goals play a very important role in who you are going to be in the future. If you create your outcomes and goals based on well informed outcomes, based on well informed outcome criteria, which is called the NLP well defined outcomes, there is more probability, there is a higher probability for you to go ahead and achieve them. Okay? If you create your outcomes and goals based on well informed outcomes, there is a higher probability for you to go ahead and achieve them. Okay? What you give focus and energy to, I told you earlier, it expands. Right? So there's nothing different which is said out here. Now, let's look at a few steps to bring in clarity to our outcomes and goals. Of course, everything is very structured, and the more structured you are, the more SOP related you are, it becomes that much more simpler. Now, the steps that we are talking about is to bring clarity to the outcome and goals. The first step is state the outcome in positive. Okay? It has to be towards what you want to achieve rather than what you don't want to achieve. So, I want to be here by so and so month. I want to achieve this by so and so month. That's being positive. Specify your goal, our next point, in a way where you find it very compelling. It should not be a casual goal. Specify your goal in such a way where you find it compelling, where it drives you, where it pushes you, which wakes you up from bed, every morning. Now, does this motivate you? Ask yourself a question. Have you broken down your goals into smaller chunks? Right? You break a bigger goal into small chunks and have them as milestones. Is each chunk that you have can be measured. Is this measurable? Because what gets measured gets done. I'm saying this from a master black belt Six Sigma standpoint. What gets measured gets done. That's how simple it is. Can you make changes to your actions towards it that drives you? Can you make changes to your actions towards that outcome and goal? Yes, because when you're going to focus on your goals and outcomes, your behavior will change. Your behavior will change, your actions will change. You'll get more focused, disciplined, you'll have a lot of rigor. Now, does this drive you? You got to ask yourself another question. Yes, no, maybe. When you think about your outcomes and goals, make sure you see, hear, and feel having achieved that particular goal. Now, when you think about your goal, make sure that you see, hear, and feel that you've already achieved it. By doing this, it's also called visualization. By doing this, you're positively moving in that direction. Agree? So, the first point we spoke about, state the outcome in positive. The second was specify the goal. We come to the third, it's called the evidence procedure. Questions that you can ask here is, how will you know your outcome has been achieved? Brilliant question. What will you see, hear, and feel when you have achieved your outcome? Another brilliant question. What will let you know that you have achieved that particular outcome? What will you be doing when you have received that outcome? Okay. There are 4 simple questions that you can ask yourself. Next point is the ecology check. The ecology check is something which helps you as a coach. As a coach, when you ask your client about the ecology check, it makes it so very simple. Okay? So, what are the questions that you will ask your coach as your client as a coach? When you're with them. The ecology outcome, you're making sure the outcome is within all aspects of the client's life, and it's not impacting the client. The ecology is the client's family, surroundings, social friends, the environment that the client moves in. You're making sure that the outcome and goals does not impact the client's this aspect of life. It's also a check to know what the client is willing to do for that particular outcome. It also helps the client know how much I'm going to be stretching. At the end, remember, it's the client who's responsible to make his or her own choices. And as a coach, you are just facilitating that process. The client is responsible for the outcome. You are just helping, guiding, mentoring, and facilitating the client to reach that particular outcome. Now, questions you can ask here as a coach is very, very important. Certain questions that you can ask is the outcome, goal for you in all circumstances of your life proper? Is the outcomes and goals in all circumstances of your life, is it right for you? So the client will say, yeah, it's okay, it's right, I'm fine, there's no problem. Is the outcome goal appropriate for you in all your personal relations? Okay, again, that the client has something to answer. Is there an impact on your health, finance, relations if you pursue this outcome or goal? Another question that you can put forth to the client. What will happen if you receive and get this goal? Okay, so the client has something to answer. What won't happen if you get this goal? Next question. What will happen if you won't get this goal? And what won't happen if you won't get this goal? So 4 very different questions. Now after this, you can run a quality check to make sure the outcome goal fits into every aspect of the client's life. Ask yourself a question. Is there any part of me that objects to this goal? Tell the client to ask that question to himself or herself. Is there any part of this outcome or goal that objects to this particular goal? Is there any part of me that objects to this goal? If so, if the client feels so, you can acknowledge it and see how you can address that particular issue and make sure the outcome goal satisfies the client as a person in the end. Okay? So these are questions that you can ask the client. The next point is self-initiated. Is this particular outcome goal self-maintained, self-initiated, and within your control? Again, yes, no, maybe. Ask yourself a question. Is the outcome goal something that you can initiate and maintain and keep it consistent? Is the outcome goal within your control or is it outside your control? Yeah. Are you doing this for yourself or are you doing it for someone else? Fair question, right? Let's go to the next point. You got to state the context of that particular goal. So again, state the context. It has to be relevant. Here the questions you can ask is when, where, and with whom do you want to realize this outcome and goal? When, where, with whom do you want to realize this outcome and goal? Is the outcome goal appropriate in contextualized with you? Is the outcome goal appropriate contextualized with you? Readjust your goal to make sure it fits in all aspects of your life. If you feel it's too big, cut it down a little, make sure it fits in. Now, whatever you want to communicate with the client has to be clear with no ambiguity. As a coach, you've got to do that. Okay, so let's move to the next point, number 7. State the resources needed to achieve this outcome and goal. So, question that you can ask here is, what resources do you have externally and internally to achieve this goal and outcome? What external resources will you need to achieve this outcome and goal? What internal resources will you need to achieve this outcome and goal? Have you worked on any outcome and goal like this before in your life? Do you know anyone who has worked on such an outcome and goal before in his life and has achieved this outcome and goal? Have you spoken to such people? Do you know what they do to achieve this outcome and goal? If you do, it will really help you to understand what are the processes involved of how they go about achieving it. It's always nice to have a little bit of background to what you're doing so that it makes your life a little simpler. Let's go to point 8. Some additional questions as a coach you can ask the client. While discussing with your client, you can ask these questions. What is important to you about this particular outcome and goal? What aspect is important? What's stopping you from going all out to achieve this outcome and goal? What is that one question you are hesitating to ask me as a coachee? Just go ahead and ask me. Don't keep anything inside you. What can you do now to make this entire thing work? Brilliant. See the set of questions coming up? When will you take the first step towards the outcome and goal? Will it be day 1 for you or will it be 1 day for you? You decide. Another brilliant question. What will that first step be like? What will that first step be like? It keeps you mystified. As a coach, when you ask such open-ended questions, it's brilliant. So thank you so much for watching this particular video, and do like, subscribe, and press the icon bell, and of course leave your comments of how we can make this bigger, better, and brighter. I will be coming back with more videos to be adding to the already number of videos that we've got to upgrade, upskill your knowledge base. And this will continue because at the end of the day, I so believe, go conquer, you wonderful and awesome people, because you so truly deserve it. We just have one life. I will see you around same time, same place. Until then, spread joy, happiness, love, stay abundant, stay blessed, and have a super day ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.